Welcome back to Relationship Status. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
CL Butler.
And your boy, Yusuf in the building. And remember that you can catch us on all podcast platforms. Just search Relationship Status Podcast. Here we go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where we
He was
going?
all by himself there.
Here we go again.
You're very excited about something.
Oh, I don't know. It
Okay.
just popped in my head as we got started.
You had a little more gusto in the intro there.
Little gusto.
Yeah.
I think it's the Red Bull. I had like 2 Red Bulls before everybody got here.
Wow.
Wow.
And then it's the Mike's. This is horrible. But this Mike's hard seltzer I'm trying out.
Okay.
Sounds
It's
nasty.
horrible. It's like I just realized it's gluten free, and I guess the gluten is where the flavor was.
It doesn't agree with your hips.
No, it doesn't agree with my
Okay.
Nique.
Y'all know what's funny? My kids like to listen to the podcast here and there. I don't. It's not something I allow. They just go on the little podcast app and
I'm glad they're avid listeners.
yeah.
Did they subscribe?
Yep.
That's the most important
That's the
part.
most
And
important
my
part.
daughter might leave a review.
Oh, hey, we're happy with that. Y'all stop ganging up on my mama.
No, she doesn't listen.
She might talk about her mom.
You know what?
She might. That little
She
one
might come.
That little one a little spicy.
Yeah, she is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Afro Latino side.
Yes.
But she
Afro Latino.
Yeah, that's what that is, isn't it?
oh my god.
That's where that spice come from.
You're Afro Latino.
Slightly.
I know.
Yeah.
You've been hiding it.
Actually, I'm 50%.
You've been hiding it. So Nique is not the only Afro Latino. You are too.
We
And I
talked-
discovered it.
How did you
we talked
discover it?
about
Don't worry about that.
No,
years
wait, whoa,
ago.
whoa. See, what you mean? How did you discover it?
Don't worry about it. I did my research.
Oh snap.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
I didn't, but I didn't have to bring it up.
Don't deny who you are.
I'm not denying.
He never denied. You never asked
Listen,
him.
if you talk to my daddy one time, you'll know.
Nique, as many times I've called you Afro Latino, he's never defended you. He just laughs.
Yeah.
It's
He like,
funny.
that's why is it funny?
I don't know why it's funny. It's just
He didn't
funny.
know he was Afro Latino.
No, I know what I am. See, yeah.
Well, why don't you speak up?
And it's crazy that you pick on me for going back and finding out everything that I am, and you laugh. That
I do.
You don't know yourself.
I do know myself. My dad is from Panama. My mom is from Trinidad.
So you Afro Jamaican?
No, Afro Trinidadian.
Afro Trinidadian.
Yeah, but no, not Afro.
We just gonna go Afro Latino.
Trinidadian,
That's what
Latino,
I'm talking about.
whatever it is.
Because you
But
don't know
I'm-
what you are.
I am currently an American citizen. That's all that matters.
Okay.
You're black.
I'm black.
But my daughter, she walks around the house saying our intro. Hey, it's
Okay.
Nique Cruz.
Oh wow, yes, that's
CL
jabs at you.
Butler.
That's jabs at you.
No, it's when she gets to you. So it's Yoshi in the house.
Oh wow.
I
She got
said-
the words wrong.
Yeah.
If
I
she gonna
said
quote
no.
me, tell her she got to quote me right.
No, because she goes on your Instagram.
Oh,
Oh wow.
how does she? No, she
Yeah,
can't. Well, she
they-
can't see the pictures because my
They
Instagram.
they maneuver around. But yeah, it's funny to me. It's hilarious. She was like, y'all just sound, I don't know. It's funny to me. CL Butler.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Tell her I said thank you.
yeah. Thank you, and make sure she subscribes. And like everybody else,
Should subscribe.
should subscribe,
Review,
5-star rate,
rate,
share,
and share.
And
comment,
listen.
And listen.
and
We
listen.
never say listen.
Yeah, you're gonna learn something every time you come to the show. Now,
Yes.
we hope so.
Or you may learn what not to do.
Usually comes from me, but
Well, I mean,
yeah, you mean?
you know, I can't disagree with no lies here.
Okay.
No lies.
Well, see,
Lies.
it's another week that Nique has some backup per se.
Yes.
Maybe. We'll
Oh,
see.
no.
We'll see what
They may
happens.
not agree with
They
you.
may not agree with
Yeah,
me.
because sometimes y'all bring people that just be.
Y'all
Bring people. Like, how did y'all bring anybody? These
Wow.
these are guests.
The guests
Nique.
are here.
The guests are actually
Yeah,
in the
they're
room.
not coming.
Like, they
No,
can-
these are new guests.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're talking about the ones that been here before?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Oh, all right.
But from the brand new, it'll be debuting this Wednesday, the very necessary podcast. We have 2 members of the foursome. We have Miss Sue, and we have what she calls herself, Vonchella, in the building.
Vangella's in the building.
Okay. Wow. Is Vonchella a Beyonce reference or a Coachella reference? Or neither?
I can do it all.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
she can do it all.
Well,
Homecoming.
Well, all right then.
Of all trades.
All right. All right.
Master of none.
Master of none. All right. So, how did you ladies come together?
Well, Vaughn and I, all of us, Vaughn, Jen, Yoshi, and I, we all were in high school together. We all became really good friends. And what happened was we always have good conversation. And the conversation really started to get really good during the pandemic. Okay. We would call each other on the phone. We would stay on the phone about like 2.5 hours and just talk about everything under the sun. And so one day, somebody told them, one of them, I think, that we should take this on the road. We should have a podcast because people want to hear what we want to say.
Yeah, I think we were over lunch one day, and we was in a restaurant for hours.
Wow.
Hours. We kind of shut it down.
Okay. Yes, we shut a couple of restaurants down.
A few restaurants down.
I was there for one one visit to a restaurant.
That's
and
right.
They don't stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
They don't stop.
Well,
So we all have different personalities, and the personalities come out. We have two that are very, they're out there. Their life is there. Their life is there. They don't care. They just say whatever they want to say. Yoshi is very unapologetic. Jennifer is just the wild one. She is. Vaughn and I, we're very calm, but I think both of us can be the wild cards because you just never know what's going to happen. Between
You've surprised me a few times, and I'm like, what?
wow. Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been the getaway driver?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So we're just happy that we all met you, you all, and that we're getting started on this.
And, with our podcast, like Sue said, we have different personalities. We have 4 women, big personalities. And it's just very interesting how we actually come together about one topic and how we express it. And our personalities actually show through our different views.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything from relationships, that's including friendships, careers, the way we raise our children, anything.
Wow. Wow. That's great to hear.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to it.
So do you like your voice on there?
Oh, I love my voice.
Okay. You do?
I'm getting used to it.
Oh, most people don't like it when they
Yeah,
first hear
I don't
it.
like
Yeah.
my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how sexy I sound.
Wow.
That confidence level.
Yes.
Okay. All right, then. From the people in the back. All right, then. Got a question for you,
Okay.
Max Voncella.
Okay.
If you had one word to describe your co-host, each one, what would say their name and then the word?
Okay.
As all the ears in the room perk up.
Yep.
Okay, so let me start with Sue, since she's here. I would say respectful.
Okay.
She's very respectful.
Okay.
Yes. I would say Jen, loud,
Loud?
and not vocal loud, but she lives out loud. Like
Yes.
she's
I agree.
Clean it up.
She's full of life.
no, she's
full of life.
very full of life.
Is that it?
Yes,
Yes.
that is
It's not full of nothing else.
no.
She just means when you see Jen, you're gonna see her. You're gonna hear her. She's not she's a small big person.
And I
Oh,
was
whoa, a small big person.
Wow.
Coming from the small
But it's
person.
the shots. The shade is
shade of it
everywhere.
all.
No, not shy.
Wow, Nique.
Like she might be small. I mean, I'm small. She might be small, but she comes in the room like she's 6'4".
Okay.
okay.
Okay, CL, you see,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
your
that's
height.
her.
Yeah, she's
You got it, Nique.
One more.
And I would say she's straight, no chaser.
Yeah.
No chaser.
Yeah, she give it to you straight. She's
99% proof.
not 100% proof. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Nique.
I'm not
It's almost like
cutting
you know
anything
them.
So, yeah.
Wow, Nique. Okay.
She's connecting. She's vibing.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's vibing.
Okay.
She's feeling
The
the vibe.
vibe, the energy.
All right, so it's strange. I wouldn't say strange. It's coincidental
Coincidental.
that we're speaking with friends who have a friend about the very show that's geared around friendship, and we're here to talk about friendship. And Sue, you have been married.
Yes.
And Vonchella, you have never been married.
I've never been married.
Okay, so Nique, where are we going to start at?
We're going to start on, should married people hang around other married people? So, Sue, since you've been...
Only?
Only.
Okay.
Since you've been married, what has it looked like as far as you and your husband hanging out, well, your ex-husband hanging out with other married people? Was it easier to hang out with married people, or was it kind of an issue where y'all were kind of separated, his friends, your friends?
Because me and my ex-husband, we all went to the same high school together. We had the same friends, or we had the same circle of friends. Some of them were single, some of them were married. Now, speaking on the married part, it was good to hang around married people. Some that was in a relationship, some that was just starting like us. But I can say this, it has to do with maturity of their relationship as well. Because it could be that influence could have been taken left and another influence can be taken in a good way. So with my ex-husband and I, the people that we hung out that were married, they're still married. And I mean, they got a pretty good relationship. And it was, I thought, influential, but then again, I guess it wasn't because of, our relationship not lasting.
Did y'all double date?
Sometimes we did. In the beginning, we did a lot, but as we continued, no.
Okay.
No.
Did you find it therapeutic to kind of talk to other married people during your marriage?
Yes, it was very therapeutic. I talked, like I said, especially the ones that were in the marriage game a long time. I did talk with them a lot about certain things, not putting our personal business out there, so much, but just to talk to them. And, I can still hear the advice about, keep your business in your home, just continue to talk to one another and things of that nature, but didn't work.
Okay. It didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah.
It wasn't your fault. I can tell. I can tell.
No, I'm not going to say that. You know what? I'll take ownership on some things that I did. I could have,
taking accountability.
Yeah,
a woman taking accountability.
Yeah.
Must be Easter.
Must be Easter. Must be.
Yeah,
but you know what? It
Okay.
took time. It took time because I don't think I would have taken that ownership years ago when the divorce happened. But now that I've had therapy and I'm a therapist that has a therapist. So therapy and just really working with myself, I can take some ownership of some things that possibly could have gone wrong for our marriage then.
Okay.
Well, see, what are your thoughts? You think married people should only be friends with married people? I'm just curious as to your thought. No,
but I don't think you should hang out with single people.
Oh, why?
Okay.
Yeah, you can have single friends.
I think there's levels to hanging out with single.
Yeah.
Okay.
married.
There is a. I wouldn't say never, but if I'm a married man, I probably don't need to go out with my friends and watch the game every Monday night.
Yeah.
So on and so. If that's what you do, you should. I don't know. You time and time again is cool.
Okay.
Maybe you can reminisce a little bit, but for the most part, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna get to Vonchella.
She said it so seriously, Vonchella.
Because I didn't want to say it incorrectly.
She had to be sure.
yeah.
Because I was just gonna call you Von.
Okay.
But how does it feel being the single friend amongst? How was it being her single friend when she was married?
During the times Sue was married, I was not around.
Okay.
I came in after the divorce took place.
The divorce, she was right there when the divorce happened.
How long were you married?
We was married for 5 years.
5 years.
Okay.
But I knew them in school as well. And it's funny because when I found out who she married, I was like, what? She married him? I was like,
You didn't think it was a good match?
No, not anything about it. But
He married up?
No, it's that we all knew each other, and it just surprised me. It's nothing. No shade at all. But I didn't know. I didn't find out till after actually when she divorced who she married.
Okay.
I found out then.
Okay.
And so it was like, oh wow. And then you look at her child, you be like, oh yeah.
Okay. That's what it is.
Replica.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, okay. But as far as me being single and having married friends, it was at first it was different because I'm a road runner. I used to be on the go all day, every day. Some people probably didn't think I worked because I stayed traveling. And whenever you get ready to go, you grab that friend that you, before they have gotten married, you used to grab them and get on the road. And then when they get married, you can't really pull them like you want to. And so you have to respect that relationship. But then you feel like your friend is leaving you. You feel kind of left behind. So it's the point of making new single friends. And I had some friends that were married that was still up and go. And then that caused strife in their relationship. And now you feel like you are the culprit behind what's going on in their household. And you start feeling guilty. And so what you do, you kind of separate yourself from them. And when you separate yourself from them, you feel left behind. You feel like you've done something wrong, and it's not a good feeling. So, where I am now with being single and having those relationships with married people, I just have to know my boundaries.
Okay. Now, if this person has been your long time friend, are you more obligated to the marriage or just your friend?
Well,
and that's for everybody.
I think I can answer that. I have when I was married, I have a friend who was there while I was married. And the majority of my friends at the time were married. The majority of my close circle were married. It's about 5 of us. 3 of them were married. 1 wasn't. And so Doc always respected me being married or everybody else being married. I just think when you have a friend like that, they kind of respect. They know.
Did he have to remind you
about? No.
Like, you're married, my guy. Like, you can't.
No. But being the fact that like all of us that used to hang out, when 4 of us are married, it kind of changed his life a little bit because he wouldn't going to the bar by yourself on a Saturday ain't fun, So he kind of started being in the house more. And then next thing you know, he ended up in a relationship, and he didn't get married, but he ended up in a relationship that, matter of fact, he's still in today. You talking about what, 2008? So I'm just saying like that's a long time.
Was that a big year for relationships? Or?
No, I'm saying that's the length of time he's been in that relationship.
Okay,
he's not married.
No, he didn't get married. Now, everybody else. Now I'm the one that's not married, and he's still not married, but he's been with her for that length of time. So. I can say that friends
13 years.
Yeah, like friends kind of, if they're friends that have been there, I think they're more likely for their life to change than to try to change your life back to what it used to be. The good friends. Right. The ones that I would say are good friends, the ones that want to see your marriage work, the ones that want to see you do right.
Okay.
And want to see it succeed, they'll kind of, like, their lifestyle will kind of change.
So are we obligated to befriend the woman if the guy is our friend, or vice versa, the woman?
No.
You have to.
Because they hated my wife. Hated my wife.
Really?
Well,
hated my wife, but they respected her.
But
they disliked her, but they respected her.
But it didn't come around because of her.
They started to fade.
Well, hold on a second. Now that's not her fault. That's your fault.
Why?
Because everything's a man's fault.
It's always a man's fault.
Yeah, first
off. That's not, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's always a man's fault.
Yeah.
Rule number 1.
Yes, and 2.
and
you
4.
brought her to your friend group the wrong way,
which is true.
Okay, so it's your fault.
She was introduced.
She was defensive. They was defensive.
Yeah, she was.
Who is this person now?
Yeah,
you getting married now?
Yeah, well, they knew of her and they went through the.
So you never introduced her?
No, they met the first time they met her. They knew of her.
Mm-hmm.
They
of
never
her.
dated.
Instead of never,
they never dated.
They knew of her.
Well, never properly introduced.
Well, the one time they were introduced before we got married was
properly
introduced before we got married was she came to my house.
Yeah,
and I had to call the cops. And so
what an introduction.
Yeah, she was cutting a fool. I had to call the police on her, and that was their first like introduction to her. Was her coming in, getting physical with me having to call the police. People had to come and break it up. Like it was that kind of deal first time. So when I ended up getting married, nobody knew. And I showed up. It was the day of my friend's wake. My friend, a real close friend of mine, died. And I showed up that day
With
and went to
your
the
married wife.
And I was like, hey, y'all, I got married today at the wake.
Yeah. So how could
And so
she
everybody
didn't stand a
said,
chance?
Wow.
You didn't stand a chance
So
at all.
okay, my question is, why didn't you introduce your fiance or your girlfriend to your friends way ahead of time?
well, I think
Good question.
she lived in a different, no, she lived far away.
Okay.
And what happened was,
What's far? Columbia?
no, she lived in
far?
she lived in Greenwood.
Ooh, that's
That's an hour.
Okay.
No,
2 hours
and I was
away?
living in Columbia. We didn't see each other.
That's an
hold
hour?
On, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Far away.
One of my friends had moved to New York. My other friend lived in Texas.
Okay.
So everybody kind of came in. Then the one that was there is who met her when the police came. So now other people knew of her from that particular instance. And then when I show up, everybody kind of flew in for the funeral. So, and my one friend that was in Columbia with me was the one that died. So everybody's like, you knew he didn't, like, everybody was in shock and awe because they knew kind of from him the foolishness that was going on between me and her. And so it kind of snowballed into while we're married, I didn't know, I knew how they felt about her, but they weren't disrespectful, or if they was at the house for game night, they wouldn't wild out. They tried to befriend her as much as they could. But when we got divorced and she went to one of my friends and was like, hey, I need you to talk to him, tell him to come back home. He was like, no, I'm not, because you're evil.
No.
Wow.
So like that was kind of what it is.
But you
could've just
shared with
said,
them
yeah.
the things that had happened
and I did.
also. So
Yes.
she didn't have a fair playing ground coming in.
No, she didn't.
Right.
No, she didn't.
Now,
I would say that.
do friends' approval matter of the person you marry?
I think so.
I agree.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's hard. It makes it difficult to blend both parts of your life.
What?
Right.
Yeah, because depending
I
on
agree.
who you're married to,
It's
it can be
difficult?
hard to be
Yeah,
around them.
Yes.
Why is it so difficult?
Like one of my friends, like her husband, I adore him. He is so sweet.
Easy, Nique.
No, like I do. I truly do.
Easy. You is wild with the words. Wow.
No, like because I
Okay.
love the way he
All
treats
right.
her.
I don't
Like
have a man yet, but I know keep him kind of far.
Yeah, Nique.
Oh, no, Judy.
I'm telling you.
I feel you.
Nah, Nique,
I
you
feel
Trump
you.
size too. So
no, like I do. I adore him for how he treats my friend. Like he makes sure she's good. He's taught her things. He's made her a better person, and a better friend. So like I appreciate him coming into her life. He is a very nice person. Now my other friend, I don't like her husband. Like he can fall off the cliff and I wouldn't care. I don't like the way he treats my friend. So like when we planned, and I think I talked to y'all about my trip to Vegas that I didn't care for. A part of that was because he popped up on that trip. And he told her he didn't want her to experience Vegas without him. So he kind of had to be around on a girls' trip. And it caused us to have to water ourselves down.
I can see that.
why did y'all have to be
Yeah.
around him? You should let her and him go on and y'all do what y'all do.
Because he just popped up.
Even
Like,
if he pops up, we're not hanging out with y'all.
And I
It
don't
was
think
hard.
you
We was on
should
a party
have-
bus.
Go this way.
You shouldn't have to
We'll
go
go
this
this
way.
way.
It's real simple.
Yeah. So like it became, and she was okay with it. Like, okay, well y'all, it doesn't matter. Y'all can twerk. Y'all can wear what y'all want. He's not gonna. No, like I don't know him.
But yet, and still, it's still different because
Yeah.
he's there in all eyes, and then he'll maybe be judgmental and say, "Well, see, and this is why I don't want you around this person, that person." You know,
And you see what Nique said? She said you can go ahead and twerk.
He like he literally
I would've
took
did it.
video. I did.
You would have been.
I did, and he has video of that, and
Don't
that
do that.
bothers me.
yeah.
He took video of you twerking.
Yes,
Her husband.
I was completely drunk. It was Vegas.
That's not my issue.
What's the issue?
That would be my issue.
Well, what would be the
I'm not
issue?
going to dumb myself down because your husband came on a girl's trip and now I have to play this nun role and can't be myself.
Okay.
Nah.
but that's probably something he should have said to her. Maybe they could have gone on a separate trip, and then you all could have had your trip.
Well, he
Yeah.
would have been on a separate trip within that trip because me and the other single
True,
girl,
that's
we
what I'm
would've
saying.
did our own
Exactly.
thing.
I said that. Yeah, y'all go that way, and we'll go this way.
And my other friend's husband, that was home had an issue with it because he felt like, well, if you were gonna go, I could have came too, and we could have gone and did something separate and let the girls do whatever. But nope.
See how you shake your head, my brother.
I am sound like this is some lesbians in a relationship. Don't sound like
How is some lesbians in a relationship?
Don't sound like no dudes.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go with your girl
to Vegas?
To Vegas with her friends?
Not at all.
Yep,
you can have Vegas at home alone. Just
and then he came back I think the week after we went there with his friends by himself.
Without her.
Mm-hmm.
See,
your friend's in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, so I agree.
Yeah.
I see why you don't like him.
Yeah, I don't at all. And because of that, me and her, not just me and her, but her and like our group, she doesn't really come to anything. And she lives in Texas. So when she does come here, she doesn't call or talk to us or anything like that. Because he's around.
We have a friend like that.
Do you? You don't say.
Yeah.
You don't say. When she gets involved, she's MIA.
She's
very ghost.
Wow.
She's getting better.
Okay.
But how does that kind of affect the group?
Oh man, because we would plan things and see, I'm the one. Come on, y'all. Let's hold hands together. Kumbaya. And come on, let's not leave her out. And next thing you know, well, I'm not going, or she's going on the trip with her man or something like that. So then that kind of stopped us from traveling places.
Okay.
So after that, guess what, y'all?
One monkey don't stop no show.
Yeah, we
And
just
she got
started
left
leaving
behind.
everybody.
Oh, wow.
And we started going on trips and concerts and everything else.
Now, do you think
said-
now let's say said friend married a gentleman.
Said friend has married gentlemen.
Okay. Did y'all have an opportunity to embrace him or no? I'm looking at your face. Did you?
First marriage loved my brother-in-law.
Okay.
'Cause, we're like sisters.
Okay.
Love my brother-in-law. Great. I felt like he was a great guy, Second one, nah, man.
Nah,
and I'm not.
yeah.
That's all.
Y'all didn't mess with
Vaughn,
him?
you want? Yeah, nah. Nah, I didn't even. You know what?
Was
And
it-
that's funny
Von's
because guess
face
what?
is like-
I didn't meet him.
You didn't meet
I
him?
did not meet him until it was a death in the family. I never met him.
And
I
see-
only got the information from Yosh. So it was interesting.
Yeah, I was name. I didn't meet that particular husband until Vegas when he popped up. That was my first time meeting. I knew who he was because she had like a shotgun wedding. So I knew who he was, but I never met him.
Wow.
We touching the nerve? Is that what's happening?
It must be. She must be that friend.
Well, did y'all? How do you handle that? How do you walk her? Okay, so did you tell her when she got it wrong the first time, and then the second time you was like, "We're gonna do
get it
better"?
wrong the first time.
Well, not the person, the introductions. Oh, so she properly introduced the first.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Second one she snuck.
Second one, yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I was not in the state at the time. I was still living in Georgia.
Well, telephones.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the way a person is introduced is kind of detrimental to how they are perceived by the friend group.
I think
In a way.
Now I have a question about that. Well, to piggyback on that,
Okay.
should you discuss what happens within your marriage with your friends?
No.
What?
No.
What are you talking about?
Good or bad?
Only to a certain point. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
I do agree only to a certain
to-
point.
yeah.
But if you're discussing something, it doesn't mean it's bad.
I'm saying good or bad. Do you? Is it a thing where you do this? Do you bring that and share? Like, because remember before you were married, y'all would share everything.
Do you trust those friends?
You see what I'm saying? So do you trust them
yeah.
with?
Okay, if you trust your friends, and you would trust that.
And I
if
have.
you told them something,
Speaking on my own marriage, I've trusted them. And the reason why my marriage did not last, only they know, and I've never heard them repeat it to anyone else.
so you can tell your friends.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to know your friend. You have to know the friendship and the relationship. Because if that person has not proven themselves trustworthy when you were single, I'm not going to trust you when I'm married to tell you my business.
Okay, so you can discuss it with your friends.
You can.
Okay, because I agree you can if they're your real friends now.
Yeah.
But I've also witnessed me being a single lady, and the other girl was single. She was actually the best, was it bridesmaid? Maid of honor. She was the maid of honor. And when I say they were tight, or at least we thought on the outside that they were tight, eventually that maid of honor ended up marrying her
the husband?
Husband, yes.
Really?
Drama.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And then when the divorce took place, guess who he brought to that's how she found out who
That they
he
were
was
dating?
when he brought her to their divorce
Hearing?
hearing.
No, was someone cheating on someone, or
They had been separated by this time, maybe a little over a year. So she
just fell into his arms?
Yeah, they were living maybe about an hour and a half away during the separation. And yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was no friend.
She's not a good friend?
No.
How is she a friend if she's now dating your ex-husband? Your soon-to-be ex-husband.
Is he not back on
wants what the heart wants.
Is he not back
All
on the
right,
block?
Everybody
beautiful.
knows that.
Is he not back on the block?
Well,
Fair game. You don't want him.
No, you're not fair
No,
game
not-
because now
I'm just asking.
Is
I
that
don't know.
woman code? I wouldn't do it, but
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
told
do
all
that.
my intimate details about my relationship.
That's a part of a part of my question. My question
so
is
now you know my flaws in that marriage, and now you're gonna one up me.
that's called reconnaissance work.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, that's not a friend.
No? Okay. I don't think it's a
Not a
good
friend.
friend.
no, but I think that's why I bring the question up. Is it good, or is it something that you should do?
I think you got to use some discernment when
Yeah,
you're doing
you got to
that.
make sure
Absolutely.
that
Well, 'cause
person is really your friend.
I wasn't even thinking about it from that aspect, but I was thinking about it from the aspect when things are bad and you're bad mouthing him to your. I won't say bad mouthing him, but you're really going in on him about the negatives.
But what
that's
if it's
going on.
negative? What he's doing?
Well, no, that might be true, but I think sometimes what happens is the marriage ends up getting better, but the friends sometimes don't ever forgive. The wife might forgive before the friends forgive.
Well, you have to
Said-
update your friends.
Yeah, you do.
You
But
can't just
sometimes-
leave that
but-
as that bad information.
But
Well,
yeah.
sometimes the friends go, "Well, you down for staying?" You know, like
Well,
stuff
in
like
my
that.
That's your
situation-
friend. She should be able to tell you do.
Well, okay.
In my situation, that put a strain in my friendship with the one that married her best friend's husband because I could not be friends with you at this point. I don't trust you.
Oh, wow.
That affected our friendship.
and you
Right.
can't
So
relate
you all
to
were
her.
cool.
We all were
Okay.
cool. I was
Oh,
at the
wow.
wedding, and it's funny because the day of the wedding, her dress got caught in the escalator. She had to run out and get something for her wedding. She had her dress on. Don't know why, but as she was going down the escalator, her dress got stuck. So the wedding, it was a 2-hour delay because they had, it was like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and now it's like God was trying to tell you didn't need to marry this man.
Are they still together now?
No, well, he's with the
second
Yeah, I'm
couple.
talking about the
Yeah.
second couple. Are they
Oh,
still
yeah, they're
together?
still married. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, I guess she like CL said, she did her reconnaissance and
She found love in a hopeless place.
she found love.
It was built off of bull, so it's probably bull. He's
She's
probably
an alpha
cheating.
female, and he's a follower.
He's a beta of
The
some sort.
beta male. Yes.
The beta
So-
male.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I didn't.
You never heard of
Beta
that?
I never
male.
heard that
I never
one.
heard of that.
Beta.
Before.
Yeah.
Beta male.
Beta male.
Yeah.
I was going to say a bad word, but I'm not going to say a bad word.
Oh,
Yeah.
no bad words.
Yeah.
today.
No bad
Please,
words.
no bad words. today.
So CL, single man.
Single.
Any married friends?
I have quite a few married friends.
What's it like for we heard what it's like for a single female with married friends? What about a single male?
Oh, it's not a problem for me because most of those things I don't indulge in.
Yeah, sure.
I'm the friend that I understand marriage.
So
'cause
you're-
I've just
you're the
been
one that-
raised in marriage. So I've had, I think, good examples. Like you heard me say, I've never heard my parents argue. Never heard them curse. Never nothing. If they had a disagreement, I don't know anything about it. So if I have a married friend and you're doing the wrong thing, I'm not hanging out with you because you're doing that to your wife. So I know I can't trust you. But the ones that are married, I'm gonna be respectful.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't even text you after 8:00.
Right.
I wouldn't ask you to do nothing I wouldn't want my lady doing with somebody else.
Okay.
So I'm kind of that friend, and that's good and bad.
It is because I'm CO.
Because I have the other side, but it's just not for you. Like I can't do.
You can't indulge in that.
No, I
you
can't
can't come with me over here today.
No. I'll tell you now. You can't hang with me. you gotta go to the house because you got a wife, and that's it. And I'm not going with you.
Have you had to do that, Vaughn? Like, had to put somebody that's married in their place and be like, "Hey, you need to relax." Like, not tonight.
No, I've never had that situation.
Women kind of do right, don't they? For the most part,
They love to say, "No,
They like
honey,
to say
I'm married.
that.
I can't do that."
Okay.
they love to say that. Well, that's a good thing to love to say, right?
I'm like, I can't do that.
What you mean?
I am the single friend, so
So you want to do hood rat things?
yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
you shouldn't. You probably shouldn't. You don't need married friends, then.
Why not? All my friends are married.
Wow.
What's that? Like not my, my friends right here, but my high school friends, my long term friendships. Yeah, they all married.
Well, Nick, you.
Okay.
We
Go ahead,
we don't agree there because you have multiple best friends and friends
Yes.
and friends, and you got a lot of friends. So
and
I don't know.
associates and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the levels.
Count associates.
Count associates.
Yeah, like I don't.
I love people.
I do too, Nique. I have, yeah.
Everybody's not your friend. Some people I
Well,
just
that's
know you.
true. And that
I
is
just
true.
know you.
But they're
Like, we're
still
not
an
friends.
associate. I still associate with them.
In the moment,
yeah.
that's it. I don't associate with you when we're not at the gym. So
All
you're
right,
my
so
gym
that-
friend.
Yes.
So I don't
What's wrong
consider
with
you
that?
my friend.
Well,
You're my
that's
friend.
you. That's
Well, my
your-
friend
That's
when
how
we're-
you use it. That's okay. That's
So
not
how can
wrong.
you say that's your friend if
That's my
y'all
associate.
just work out together?
That's my associate. We associate
Okay,
for a gym.
I'm gonna let you have it.
Thank you.
Should you-
Appreciate it.
Should you go to your, as a married person, should you go to your single friends for advice?
Yes,
Yes.
sure. Because sometimes
If it's
it
me.
doesn't-
You should.
I
Tell you
say
to
it's
do the
all
right
about
thing.
maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Do the
all
right
about
thing,
maturity
brother.
of that person. Because just because you're single, that doesn't mean that they can't give you sound advice on marriage and vice versa.
Because I was gonna go ahead, Vaughn.
Yeah, I've always heard that a married person should not look for advice in a single person or talk to them because they are not married. They're not in that situation to give that advice. So
Now I remember. Now that's where I was going with that, because when I started having trouble in my marriage, I knew I couldn't talk to Doc because Doc was a single man, and from what I was told, married people talk to married people when they're looking for advice. So I went to my friend Mal, and Mal said, "Oh, I can't give you no advice." He said, actually, the best advice I'm gonna give you is what my mom and daddy told me. Your marriage is not my marriage, so I can't give you advice on your marriage.
Is that even a good friend?
Huh?
I've heard
Is that even
before.
a good friend?
being honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being honest.
I
Yeah, he
think so.
I was
even
at a
like that.
No,
Okay,
I
but
was
he
at a
didn't-
wedding that somebody
he didn't even
said that.
try.
No, he
like that.
I think that no, because I thought there was validity to it. Like
How?
the problems that if we're not the same two people.
We're not. Nobody's the same.
No, exactly. So if you have not had or do not have the problems that I'm talking about in your marriage, sometimes how can you give me advice on what can happen in my marriage?
For a moment, let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay. When you're dating someone, the things you do in marriage are more contractual
Okay.
of legality than you are being single. Me giving you advice, Yusuf, you shouldn't go to the bar every night. I don't have to be married to tell you that.
Yes.
Yusuf, maybe you shouldn't curse at your wife. Not saying that you did or didn't, but
I did, but okay.
Yusuf, hey, maybe instead of worrying about what she's doing, you need to take responsibility first. That's any relationship you're in.
but
It doesn't
you have
have to
to
be married to do that.
Some people don't want to be inserted in other people's mess because now once he had gotten that advice from his friend, it may backfire on his friend. And his friend probably don't want that backlash because of
Are we talking about friends? Because there is no
Well, he
backlash
just-
amongst friends. We might have a disagreement.
okay, but if he's married, the wife can chime in. Like, it's just too complicated.
Well,
It can be complicated.
And that friend probably didn't like your wife, so he didn't want to have any input and
Right.
disrespect
No,
your wife.
he didn't like her, but
even if I don't like a person, some things are common sense. And advice isn't to hear your response. Advice is what I think. So I don't care what your response is. You do what you want with information. If you ask me a question, I answer it. You have to apply where you need to apply.
There it is.
But I think as a friend, you have to say it.
Okay.
If you're your friend, I'd be like, man, you stupid. Like, we could still be friends, but you're dumb. You're an idiot.
I think when it came to certain things,
Because I don't have to date you.
like advice with anything outside my marriage, he would give me on. But as far as the marriage was concerned, he just wouldn't talk to me about that.
he's afraid of cat.
No, he didn't like your marriage, so
No,
he
he
didn't
just
want to
didn't.
speak on
He
it.
didn't like. He didn't.
So if your marriage is already bad, what's some more advice? Like, it ain't.
He probably would have just told you just leave,
Well, I mean, I was told leave by a lot of people,
and you
So,
didn't leave. So he was like, "Ain't nothing I
Nah.
can tell you."
Is it her? But it wasn't her.
What you mean?
It wasn't your wife. It was you.
I take responsibility in some of the things that happened in my marriage, but
Oh.
we put some of the stuff on her doorstep
Oh.
too. Like some of that stuff is on her doorstep.
A lot of sometimes with women, a lot of stuff is reactionary. So if you're more proactive about situations, women tend to react way more than men.
Yeah, but I've
Some men react too, but like, you think you gonna cheat, she gonna forgive you, and you gonna have peace.
No,
No.
You
Not
gonna
at
take
all.
no therapy. We're not gonna take no time. We just gonna. She forgave me, and I'm cool. You're an idiot.
Why didn't you seek out therapy, or did you?
She wouldn't go to therapy.
But you could have went as an individual.
Thank you.
That's
Because she didn't go, he didn't go.
Well, I felt like at the time.
Felt
You're right. I
Facts.
felt.
You're in
I
your
felt
feelings.
like
facts over feelings.
I felt like at the time, we needed to go together, because the issue was I was doing my best to be a better husband, and it just seems like I've said it before, we weren't supposed, we should have never got married.
Well, you got to be a
At
better
the beginning.
yourself, or you can be a better husband.
And I became through my marriage, I became a better man. Through that failed marriage, I became a better person. Okay. And then I was better than I was when I started. Okay. And then I got into my next relationship where I was engaged. And then through that, I became better after that. So I just think that I think that there was no saving that. Sometimes there's no saving something. And I just felt like the way we started, it was destined to we just should have never, the circumstances under which we got married, the marriage as a whole. We were together 3 years. We were married for 3 years. 1 year, 2 years were pure T hell, and one was great. It was either extremely good or it was extremely bad. And when it was bad, it was bad.
How was the dating?
We didn't date.
they didn't date.
We dated for like 2 months, and then
No, y'all knew each other for 2 months. Y'all didn't even date.
yeah, no, we knew each other for 2 months. She broke up with me.
She already told you I'm out.
Yeah, she said she broke up with me after 2 months.
I'm out.
And then
2 months I'm out. I'm married. Oh.
Then like 2 months later, she came back and was like, "I'm pregnant. Not sure if it's yours, but I'll holler back." And then like a month later, she called me back and said, "It's mine. I'm not having it and putting it up for adoption. It's yours. I'm not having it and putting it up for adoption." And then I went into the, "You not gonna give up my child?" And then we started fighting back and forth, and then we became cool. And then she had the baby, and then that's the night that fight happened. Was my daughter was like a couple of months, and she dropped her off. "Here, you gonna take care of your child?" I was like, "Okay." And she came back like 15 minutes later. "Give me my child," and it sparked the fight. And then shortly after that, it was like my cousin got out of jail, and I had a celebration at my house, and she popped up one day, and we started to argue, and then we kind of made up. And then once we made up that night. And then next day we got to fighting again. She called me about a month later. "I'm pregnant again." So it was just a back and forth. That thing shouldn't have. Then my friend
happened.
It lasted longer than it
should have.
have.
Should have,
You're talking
yeah.
about
Yeah.
4 years worth of 4.5 years worth of back and forth. It shouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
when she left after those 2 months, and she left, had she not been pregnant, I probably would have never got married. Would have never seen her again ever. So I just think that sometimes, and that's the thing too, I think sometimes people let children, and I'm guilty of it, let children dictate the decisions they make in their relationship. If it was bad and it was something that shouldn't have happened, and y'all were out, y'all was broken up with, or you were about to break up with somebody before you found out you was pregnant, message, you should have just said, "Okay, we're gonna have this child. We could just co-parent. That's it."
I was and I was listening on TikTok to this therapist that likes to throw little
TikTok.
quotes.
You went to TikTok.
Is that where you go for
That's man
therapy?
to spell his life. You went to TikTok.
No, because like it's something he
TikTok.
said.
Let's go.
It was something he said that kind of was similar to what this therapist said, that a lot of people can co-parent very, very well, but they make that the glue of their relationship because they figure, oh, we're great parents together, so our relationship must work. Because we're great parents. And if we're great parents together, we know how to co-parent. We know how to focus on this child and raise this child correctly. We have to be married. We have to be together.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to tell you.
That wasn't Derek Jackson, was it?
No.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
Yeah, I
not gonna
thought
go
she was
there.
listening to Derek.
Well, for me, I just didn't. That decision was because I had kids from 2 other failed situations. I was like, I don't want to be a baby daddy again. And so, that was me.
Okay.
High five.
And I think that sometimes that's the thing. Some people don't want to be a baby daddy. Some people don't want to be a baby mama. I'm going to be with you. We just going to make it work. And those things just don't work, or you unhappy for the rest of your life.
And so when I was, getting a divorce, a lot of people wanted me to stay together
For the kids.
because of my son. And I just couldn't see it. I couldn't see myself staying in that marriage because I wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. And I just didn't want my son to notice that because I just feel like children see that. Children see when their parents are unhappy. And I didn't want him growing up thinking the same thing, like, well, I have to stay with this person in order for my child to have best of both worlds.
And to that point, Sue, I remember I was talking to Doc, and I was like, man, I'm ready to be out. He was like, man, look, he said, you could be, I said, but I don't want to leave my kids. He was like, you could be a father, period. He was like, you'll always be in your kid's life. So I was like, all right, cool. And then, but it still didn't resonate at the time. So I stayed. A couple days later, me and her got into a big blow up. We cursing at each other, blah, blah, blah. Doors get slammed. My daughter comes in the room. She's 3 at the time. She says, Daddy, can you please be nice to mommy? And so it was like, that's when I knew it was time for me to get out because I saw it started to affect. I actually saw an effect from my daughter. I saw a reaction from my child that made me kind of say, hey, man, look, I might need to start thinking of being out.
And to this day, even when I do get in an argument or something with my ex-husband, my son is still not around now. Granted, he's 18 years old. And so I'm not around him because I still want him to know that we are going to respect each other. Even though we're still not together, we're still respecting one another. And the co-parenting must continue. So I just don't think it's good to just stay with somebody because
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I think, see, what's your saying about kids?
Kids shouldn't be born with jobs.
Yeah, kids shouldn't be born with jobs. Yeah,
Not to keep you together, no.
yeah,
It's not enough.
it's
That's
too.
not
I
fair.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, going back into friends,
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, Vaughn, has any of your married friends tried to set you up on a date?
Yes.
did you see the head
You're
roll?
a little tired of that, aren't you?
How did that go?
Not well.
Not well.
No.
Okay.
Not well. And it's because I think for me, I already knew what type of guy that they were going to set me up with. And
Well, what type is that? Take your time.
it just didn't work out. And not only that, because they were really close and I didn't like my business to be shared amongst their conversations when they got together as boys, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I just didn't like that. Like, don't set me, y'all. Don't.
Look, she turned around. Yeah, y'all, don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah, I'd rather meet a person on my own. Now, if you say, hey, we're out together, because we do each other like that a lot, where we would try to, the person that's sitting next to us will say, excuse me, are you single?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah. I was like, you're single. And we were like, why are you doing this? But sometimes, those type, get-togethers can be something.
Yeah, in movies. That always works in
yeah,
movies.
in a movie, yeah.
But not realistically. I don't. No, don't do it.
As seen on TV.
Yeah.
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 People really do that though.
Has that happened to
they
you,
do.
Nique?
Yeah.
We
That-
tease
that
each other
friend.
when we do stuff like that, but other than that,
No, my friend and her husband they really wanted me to leave a certain guy alone. So they decided when they came here to South Carolina, they were going to take me out to eat and met me with one of his military friends. And yeah, he was ugly. And I'm okay with
But that's
ugly. But he was just like too just what? He was
Right.
he was just like real funny looking, and he wasn't that nice. And I don't like mean men.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay, Nique. Thank
we're
you.
gonna go ahead and ladies, thank you
thank you.
Thank you
for
for
being
having
on.
us.
I enjoyed myself.
Yes.
Would you like to give the fans where they can follow you on social media?
You can follow us on social media at Unapologetic Talk, The Very Necessary Podcast, and on Instagram, The Very Necessary Podcast. And if you would like to email us, you can email us at the very VARY Necessary Podcast at gmail.com.
Okay, y'all seem to have that down. And that,
Yeah.
okay,
I have a question.
okay, I was about to ask. I think you about to ask the same
Why
question. I was about to-
vary? VARY, right?
Because it was a variation of things that we always talk about. You have a variety of characteristics and everything.
And we have our own personalities, and it's just very is like the most appropriate word that we could describe ourselves.
So I'm kind of getting the feel that you two came up with this.
No,
Who came up with this?
it was
No way.
Yoshi.
No
Yoshi,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way at all.
Because we originally had a different name,
What was that going to be?
unapologetic
Okay.
talk, I think.
Yeah, just unapologetic talk. But I think that was like more of
Too
her
many
brand.
people have
Yeah,
unapologetic
yeah.
now. Everybody's
They
unapologetic
do. It's a
when
lot.
they're not.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
when they're not.
When they're not. A lot of people are not. They just like.
I mean,
the
a lot of
name.
people live by don't live by the things they're pushing. So
Yeah.
it kind of is what it is. Nique,
All right, well, I would like to thank our guests for joining in on the conversation today. It's your girl, Nique Cruz.
CL Butler.
and your boy Yusuf, and we are out. The Relationship Status Podcast is sponsored by Unfiltered. Whether it's hoodies, long sleeve tees, leggings, joggers, or tech suits, Unfiltered has what you need to express yourself in any weather. Visit unfilteredforever.com and use the promo code RSP to get 10% off your entire order. That's unfilteredforever.com, promo code RSP. And
Thank you for listening to another episode of Relationship Status. Remember, you can catch us on relationshipstatuspodcast.com, iTunes, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, Nobody Grinds Like Us, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. If you would like to join the conversation or leave us a Dear Nique, email us at relstatpodcast@gmail.com or call us at 843-310-8637. Follow us on Facebook at Relationship Status Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at RELSTAT Podcast. And don't forget to comment, share, 5-star rate, subscribe, and review.